A Plague Tale Innocence. This is kind of a special one. No, it's not GTA 5, but it has a special character
Looks
to
like
it.
GTA 5 a little bit, but there's no cars, and it's a lot different story.
And why are there no cars, Mikhail? Tell us about the story and the world of
Because
Plague Tale.
it's in the story of the plague that was back in when?
The 14th century. Yeah.
And it's in France.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot different than GTA.
No cars. no guns, no cars. But you play a noble woman, a noble girl, actually, and her little brother.
And they're orphans.
They're orphans.
I mean, not at the beginning, but most of the game.
Spoiler alert. They will quickly be orphans. That's pretty early in the game. And your job is to protect your little brother basically through the whole game. And things get more and more mysterious and dramatic, especially when the rats show up. And if you know anything about this game, you know that there are rats.
And this game feels very realistic and very atmospheric, but there is unnatural touches in the game. So not everything is as that realistic, but it can be more fun because of that.
Yeah, this is not a historic game like Kingdom Come Deliverance, for example. And the longer the story goes on, the more supernatural things get.
Yeah.
So without spoiling too much, you'll find out that your little brother that you're protecting actually has some special abilities that make people want to capture him, and that's why you have to protect him not only from the guards, from the rats, but also from the guards and soldiers, and even from a certain powerful entity that was very important in medieval Europe. I've said too much already.
But it all looks medieval. There are castles, there are dungeons, there are churches, and the guards, knights are chasing you, and it looks all realistic with the beautiful visuals.
Yeah. The walking through the medieval villages really feels like being in that world. I found it very immersive. You said at the beginning you found the visuals to be a little bit...
Yeah, the more you play, the further you get, the more pretty it gets. At least for me, because the forest at the beginning feels a little bit like an indie game to me, but since the town, it gets a lot better.
Yeah. Then finally, we could explain the gameplay a little bit, because unlike most medieval games, it's not about like getting a sword or a mace and hacking your opponents. You're a young woman.
But your opponents got swords, and if they get you, they just slay you.
Yeah,
and it's just one hit and you're done. So you need to be really hiding in the shadows, going into the tall grass, and you're not alone. You have your brother with you, so you have this mechanism that you have to help each other, and you can give him a simple commands, and you have only a slingshot that you can upgrade. You can actually collect some items which you can upgrade your slingshot.
You know, it sounds a little bit discouraging or negative to say that basically the whole game is a stealth escort mission. But but that is basically true, but that's not necessarily a bad thing in this case. Don't let that slow you down. And finally, one thing that I really liked about this game, talking about mechanics, is how most games for the first quarter or a third spend time getting you to progress to new mechanics. So you'll get like a new ability, a new weapon, and then you use all of those abilities, in the game. In this game, I felt like to the very end, you were constantly getting some new abilities that kind of changed the mechanics and mixed things up a little bit. And every hour, I would say, it's about a 10 to 12 hour game. But I would say every hour there was some new mechanic or new ability that really changed the way that I played the game. So that's pretty cool. By the way, this game is currently still 40 euros on Steam. So that's one reason to claim it for free. But the question is it worth your time?
Should you play it? This is a really story-driven game.
Yeah, very linear.
Since you played it more, since you finished it, I think you should go first.
Okay. Like the strength of this game is the visuals, as you can see behind. Also, the story is very engaging. The mechanics are good. My one kind of criticism would be that they present a lot of things like combat. You know, there are guards, there are rats. You have to get through and you have to fight through with your sling and with. But most of the combat feels more like solving a puzzle, because you have to figure out how to attract the rats there, how to put something in the way so that you go this way while the guards go that way. And I find that to be a little bit of a conflict, because it's supposed to have the excitement of combat and fighting for your life, but it feels a little bit more like trying to figure out, okay, they put that light there and this catapult there, so what do they want me to do to get past this guard? And that slows down the pace a little bit. Now, that being said, it makes perfect sense that this girl, you know, can't like sword fight the guards, and she's going to have to find other ways to get past danger. So that's not a huge criticism. It just the tone and the pacing and the excitement could be a little bit better, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only criticism I could find, though. Everything else is a great experience, beautiful, immersive, interesting mechanics, and it's free. Absolutely, you should play this. Don't miss it. It is a great opportunity to play this.
I would like to point out that this little bit looks like a game for child as well, because I mean it's a young girl.
You're playing children.
You're playing children, and it's not, because
No,
it's in the dark times. It's very bloody, and you said you usually have to evade guards, but sometimes you have to kill them in the bloody way. So this is definitely not for
It's
kids.
extremely violent.
Yeah, it's violent, and it's very atmospheric because of that, because people are always running you, and especially in the first half, I think you get the feeling like your heart is really beating.
Yeah.
And it
I was
feels a little
scared
bit,
sometimes.
Yeah,
It was scary.
It feels a little bit like a movie, but like a good movie. So I am definitely saying yes to. Maybe not even if it's not free anymore, because this is a great game.
40 euros seems steep for a 10-hour
Yeah.
game, I have to say. But if
it's like around 10 euros,
absolutely,
I think it would be still worth
absolutely.
to play.
It's I've this last year I've played so many games. This one I played a few months ago on Game Pass actually and completed it. The story and the atmosphere, this one sticks with me. It's a special experience.
Is it still on Game Pass? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably, yeah. So that would be the best way to play it, is like, get a subscription to Game Pass if you haven't gotten it for free. But you should claim it for free. And if you missed it, you should be subscribed to us so you don't miss these, and share it with your friends so they don't miss it.
The best way to get the best games is to follow us, because we tell you which one is good, which one is not, because we're getting these free games from Epic Game Store every single week, usually 2 games now, so you don't have time to play everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we do.
Well, we make it work. We make it work.
So if you like what we're doing, just join us, and we have live streamings, we have live chats,
gameplay, benchmarking, reviews, everything.
and we're always growing. So